All right, Batman, Gotham City Chronicles. Today we are painting Poison Ivy and her gang. I think you're really going to enjoy this. A simplified way that anybody can do. You know, I try not to put a ton of detail and get you guys lost. I want you to be able to just pick up a brush and do yours. And see how easy it can be and enjoy it and color your world the way you see it. So without further ado and me not rambling too much, let's go down to the table and see how we get this.
Today we are going to be starting with, well, Poison Ivy's gang, which is basically just a bunch of carnivorous plants. Now, the key to this is doing the bark first, because your highlights are really going to come from the actual leaves and the actual face of this thing. So all we're going to want to do is, you know, we primed it black, and we're just going to really want to just get this brown in here, and that's going to set the tone for this. Let's get that out of the way, huh? And as you can see, I kind of already just tested it, and I'm using a very dark brown, which is a Rhinox hide. And there's a reason for that, because we're actually going to lighten this up quite a bit, and we want to bring it out and give it some depth. We could leave it like this and let the leaves and the head here work, but we're not. We really want to give everything some depth. So I'm going to finish up. There's 4 of these. I'm going to get these done, and then we'll come back with our next step. Now with me, the whole thing is wasted motion. You know, while I got one color dry, I always try to do something else. I probably should highlight the branches first, but I know that I'm not going to hit those branches because there's a green stem here. So what I'm doing is taking some pink horror, okay, and that's that color right there. And what I'm going to do is I'm painting the head of this carnivorous plant, and we'll paint the teeth in later. I'm not worried about that, but all I want to do is just get this and get this dry, so we can continue onward and always have something, always to be moving, is basically what I try to do. I always try to not have a time where I have to stop and wait for something to dry. Something else can dry in the meantime. So I'm constantly working the plant here. So I'm going to finish up the other couple that I have, and then we're going to move on, and we're probably going to start working, because by then everything will be dry and ready to start working on the actual bark there. Next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to take some Bane Blade Brown, as you can see right here. And I took a lot of it off this brush, and all I want to do is very lightly go over and hit the higher parts of this, okay? Because we want to bring this out. We want these vines to have some life to them. And just take the brushes and just ever so lightly go over them. And you're going to see that it's all going to just really just come out really nice. And that's all we're doing, is to try to get some depth on these vines. And you want to be very careful, because you can really make it kind of almost, I call it almost like smoky or smudgy or foggy, if you do it too hard and too much. You want to keep that dark brown underneath, but you want everything else to kind of come out the way we were talking about, it just sitting up. And you can see I just did one here, and you can see how we just got the nice fine detail in there, and that's all we want. We just want that vine to be a base behind everything. Now I'm actually going to do the same thing with the little princess here, which is yeah, you got it. And all I want is those vines. Before I start messing with her, I want to get these vines right where I want them, because she becomes such a critical, I mean, the vines really do sell everything else that we're going to do with her. And we want them to sit up. We want them to look nice. You want to come in from behind here and just really just have them covered nice and well and give these vines some depth. We're also going to give them some color because the nice thing about it is they have some leaves on them, so it's going to break up some of the contrast of just this nasty vine coming out of the ground. So I'm going to finish up the rest of these, and then we're going to come back with our next steps and show you how to get all this done. All right, next thing that we're going to do here is we're going to get these leaves painted up. All right, and I'm going to do it with a Caliban green. Okay, we're watering it down off screen, of course. And all I'm going to do is just basically make sure that I get all these leaves. Now, I know what you're saying. Well, wow, that's a really dark green. Well, the whole point of it is I want it to be dark because we're going to lighten this up as well. So we want to give this depth as well, but we have to have a good base. And this Caliban green does a wonderful, wonderful job of doing that. And as you can see, it's pretty easy. You just whip around. There's a few leaves. There's a couple of leaves over here that really kind of break up all this brown and pink and things. But what we want to do is just make sure that we get good coverage. So let me show you what happens when we're all done here. It's going to look exactly like that, and that's exactly all I'm looking to get done with this particular color. Next thing we're going to do, well, I'm going to show you that as soon as I finish up getting the rest of these done. So without further ado, we'll be back shortly. All right, very quickly, just to catch up with Poison Ivy, I took some Nurgle. Oh yeah, here we go. Nurgle green. I really think it makes out for her. I know it looks like a mess right now. I got to put another coat on, but I really like the color of her skin, and I like this version of her. Not where she's just normal skin. I like the poison skin with her in the comic books. So what I'm going to do is next, I'm going to take care of her mid-dress, and we're going to be using a War Boss green for that. So there's some contrast and difference in colors. So I'm going to get that done, and then we'll be right back to show you how it looks and where we're going to go with it. Now, as we're putting the War Boss green on, I want to let you know that you definitely need to water it down a little bit, and it's going to take you a few coats, especially going over the black. That's a real tough color to get in there, but if you go over it a few times, it's really good. Don't worry about going over the leaves, because we're going to go over the leaves, and it's actually going to make that easier to do when we come back. So I'm going to finish this up, and then we'll be back, and I will show you how it looks when we're done. All right, we're almost done with the base colors here for Miss Poison Ivy, and all we want to do now is get that unbelievable hair that really just sells her beyond belief, and that's just taking an Evil Sun Scarlet, and just really, she's got that really red hair, and it really works well with the green. You're going to want to take your time with this, okay? And you're going to need a couple coats because this is watered down a bit. And I really just am going to take my time because I don't want to have to touch things up time after time after time. So just taking your time with this and making sure that you hit everything. And, you know, sometimes leaving a little streak there or something really makes a difference. But like I said, we're going to just get this done, and then we'll come back, and then we're going to start to highlight and start to bring her to life. And that's the thing that I really enjoy doing, is getting her highlighted. Well, now that we got these plants all base coated, it's time to start shading and doing a couple things that we need to do. And number one of them is we don't want to leave that looking the way it looks, so we want to add some shade in there. We want these things to look fierce. I mean, look at those teeth start to pop out. Just like that, with just a little bit of shade. We don't want to shade the rest of it. All we want to do is work with what we have. And that little bit of shade does so much. And it's going to give you that confidence that you guys need. You know, especially when you're painting stuff like this. And you're going to find that you're going to enjoy it a lot better. So just getting that done. Everything's going to go out of focus. Sorry about that. Got to get used to this new camera. I just want to show you one more time. Just taking that little bit of Agrath Earthshade and how that just works in there. And you don't need a lot. You don't need a lot on your brush. All you need to do is just get that little bit and go over those teeth. And see how it creates those shadows and brings out some of that beautiful depth that they have in there. Boy, those are some nasty looking plants. So I'm going to finish up the couple other guys I got to do here. And then what we'll do is we'll come back once this dries. And we're going to start to bring this to life like everything else. Now that we darken everything up on our little plant here, pretty much, it's time to start bringing it out. So what we're going to use is an Ogren camo. I really think this works well on a dark green because it really brings out what we're trying to accomplish here. So all you're going to want to do is just kind of lightly go over and just really hit those leaves a little bit and work it into the bottom of the leaf, because you can't have it one color on one side and one on the other. And you're going to see that this is all going to just kind of really lighten this model up very quickly. And a little in there, a little up there, right in these 3 leaves here. They got a bunch of leaves there, and just taking and working around the neck here. Don't forget that leaf there and underneath, and that leaf there, and just go around and make sure that you get all the leaves, and drop the model a couple times. That usually helps. And all I'm doing is just taking and really rubbing this in, especially right in this area here, because we're really gonna start lightening up the head of the carnivorous plant, which is really gonna sell this whole figure here and make little Miss Ivy look a lot more dangerous than what she really is. Alright, let me finish this up. I'm going to finish up the other ones and then we will be right back. Now that we got all the base colors on Miss Ivy, we're going to want to use an Athonian camo shade. And what we're going to do is we're going to take a little on our brush here and we're going to work that around everywhere. And we don't want it to pool up, because if it pools up, then we're going to have a tough time really bringing her back into play. So all we want to do is just take and move this around. You want to be careful not to get her red hair. Usually I would wait and paint her red hair last, but I kind of wanted to work a little into her face. So I'm going to just take my brush and be very careful on how I move this around, move it over there, and I can always touch up her red face with a little bit, because I want to do her eyebrows, which are going to be red as well. So I want to work this in here. I want to get all those leaves and pull up all that detail a bit, and then we're gonna do a little leaf work. We're gonna go a little farther with her than we probably need to, but I think you guys can do this, and we're going to show you the blueprint on how to. So with that moved around, we're just going to let this dry, and then we're going to come right back, and I'm going to show you a few more things. Now, one of the things to make this model really sit up is to do all the leaf work. And I use a warp stone glow, which is a beautiful green, and it really stands out. And what you want to do is you want to hit all these leaves, and you want to take your time with this, because what this is going to do, it's really going to bring out her character. And you can see how it works right on all the wood on her vines, but it's also going to sit on her arms and really help bring that out, because she has vines that kind of sit up on her arms a bit. So adding this in really with the nice wash that we put in, you know, we also want to come in here. I hope I'm not losing this in the camera. Again, new camera, new vision, new painting, right? Or just coming up and really getting those vines sit up. So I'm going to finish her up, and then I'm going to show you what it looks like when it's done and how this character really comes together. One of the last parts that we really want to get in here is, you see how dark this piece is here. Well, what I did here is I took some dry paint, and that's a changeling pink. And what's really going to really make this gang member, if you can call a carnivorous plant a gang member, after all, it's poison ivy, for crying out loud, really stand out, is we're just very lightly going to go over, and we are going to start to lighten this up a bit. And we got that nice wash that we put over it, and I want to come over the top here, and all I want to do is just really kind of, that's it. See how that, now this plastic isn't the greatest to some degree. I want to be careful because I don't want to hit those teeth either. And all I want to do is just really kind of, I don't want to get on the green leaves. All I want to do is just really start to bring this out. And what you're going to do is you're really going to work this in here, and then you're going to get something like that, which is exactly what we want, because it really brings out some detail there and brings this really to life. And you know, along with the leaves and everything, you really got yourself a nice model that you're going to be, well, giving Batman hell with. So I'm going to finish up the last couple I have of this, and then we're going to come back and finish up here. Last bit I want to do here is I want to take some Tyrant Skull, and it's another dry paint, and all I want to do is I just want to hit, as you can see, I just want to work a little bit of this vine a little bit. I want to give this vine just a little bit more depth than it has, and just work it in there a little bit, not much. I don't want to take away from the green, and as you can see how she works, we've really got, I just want to make sure that it just stands out a little bit more. And you know, just picking a little spot here, you know, a spot here by her feet a little bit. There we go. You see how that really starts to bring that out a little bit, and how that vine just really encompass is Miss Ivy here. And pretty much she's looking pretty good. Paint, like I said, nice, easy, simple solution, and you get it done quickly, and you get her to the board quickly to give Batman yet more problems. So let's just take a nice scan of everything, and then we'll go up top and get my final thoughts. All right, there she is, Poison Ivy and her gang. I really like doing this way, where I paint the gangs with the actual leader or the villain, and I really think that this is a lot of fun. I made it a little more darker and a little more sinister, but I brightened her up a bit, and I really like, and I think it fits real well. We're going to be doing some work on the bases, and you're going to see that going forward, and I'm going to show you how I'm going to do all the bases at the very end. But a lot of fun, enjoyable, Poison Ivy. Let's go up top and get on out of here.
There you have it, Poison Ivy and her gang. Very simple, easy technique, off and running, done, boom, bang, and I think good enough for the table, and that's what's most important. The bases, we're going to show you how to do the bases later on. I've got a few ideas I want to share with you. We're going to be doing some different types of things. We're going to, I think you'll enjoy it. But I think that's about it. We'll be doing more and more Batman, all the stuff that you don't expand, giving you a blueprint to make it easy for you to pick up a brush and paint. And that's all I try to do. You may want to vary from what I do, but I would love to see what you do. Just send me a copy to novaprime860@hotmail.com. Until next time, it's your old pal Rob. We'll see you soon.